I'm a guy with a calculator, and I'd like to talk about truth that matters. Let's talk about the City of Yuma Pacific Avenue Athletic Complex. First, the men and women who work for the City of Yuma and maintain our beautiful parks, pools, and other facilities deserve the utmost respect and appreciation. In no way is this video intended to denigrate the hard work that they do day in and day out. Second, softball, over the line, and other outdoor recreation and sports are important to our community. This video is intended to look at the financial decisions made by the City of Yuma administration, raise awareness, and re-ask some questions that have still not been answered. Truth that matters. What were we told? Why were we told that? Was it true? And who is responsible? On Wednesday, October 17, 2008, City of Yuma Parks and Recreation presented to Yuma City Council. 4 days later, the Yuma Sun ran this headline: PAAC draws nearly $500,000 and has an economic impact of $1.4 million. Sounded great, but I'm a guy with a calculator, and I decided to take a closer look. This is what we were told. The Yuma PAAC generated $447,190 in revenue and $1.38 million in economic impact. This is what they presented. $138,000 in tournament fees, $30,000 in ticket sales revenue, and $247,000 in concession sales. Well, when I added all those up, it was only $417,190, a $29,365 calculation error. But if that was the only problem, I probably wouldn't have wasted my time with this video. This is the rest of the story. The year prior, City of Yuma generated $101,420 in tournament fees. So the first year of the PAAC, with the $138,000, you subtract what they would have made, $101,000. That means that the PAAC only generated $36,919 in new tournament fee revenue. What about concessions? They reported $249,466 in concession sales. The problem is that sales is not revenue. I did some research. Turns out the true concession revenue was only $82,324. So if you take the new tournament fees generated by the PAAC, the $30,000 in ticket revenue, and $82,000 in concession revenue, you're only left with $149,263. So they presented $447,190, but the new revenue was only $149,263. Why would they do that? My question was, are they trying to intentionally mislead the public? How much does this cost the taxpayers? Well, we were told $971,000 is the total operating cost. $1.1 million is the bond payment. Total annual cost, $2,096,833. So $2 million in annual cost, $149,000 in revenue, which means that the taxpayers are losing $1.9 million a year. But then you have to look at economic impact. We were told that the real reason the PAAC was here is for the economic impact. We were told $1.38 million is what the PAAC generated in economic impact. We were told that the 2% of the economic impact generated by restaurant, hotel, and bar sales was going to fund the PAAC. Well, 2% of $1.38 million is $27,600. That does not cover the cost of the PAAC. So how much of an economic impact would we have to have as a result of the softball tournaments at the PAAC to cover the $2 million? $97,378,511 per year. That's $3.4 million per tournament, $365,000 per team, or $29,000 per player. That means every player that comes to the City of Yuma from out of town to play softball for 2 days would have to spend $29,509 in bars, restaurants, and hotels during their 2 or 3 day visit. So when I brought this up, somebody told me about the rest of the 2% fund. They reminded me that the 2% fund generates about $5 million a year. The 2% fund is growing at about 5% a year. Well, $5 million, especially if it's growing 5% a year, is plenty of money to cover the $2 million that the PAAC is costing us. So I looked into it. And this is a chart that I got from the 2018-2019 City of Yuma budget. And sure enough, it's growing about 5% a year. More recently, it's been growing at about 6.4%. It looks very healthy. But just like the PAAC, we can't just look at the revenue. We also have to look at how much is being spent. And that's where the problem is. These numbers are all from the City of Yuma budgets from 2013 to current. In July of 2017, $3.1 million is all we had left in that fund. Over that time frame, we lost about $825,000 per year. That means we're overspending that fund way more than it can generate. The projected for July of 2018 is $1.7 million, and as you can see, the projected for July of 2019 is under $1 million. It doesn't take a genius to see that we're going to run out of money in the 2% fund if we continue to spend it at the rate that we are. So what now? I suggest you contact the City of Yuma administration and demand some answers. This information has already been presented to them and these questions have already been answered, and nobody seems to have answers. Why did we choose to invest in a project that's going to cost us $1.9 million a year when we have so many other priorities in the City of Yuma? Share this video and follow me if you'd like to see more videos about truth that matters.